You are listening to the Doc Malik podcast. This show is 100% independent and fully funded by listeners like yourself. So, if you wish to support Ahmed in all that he is doing, then please subscribe to his channel on Spotify or his Substack. Or simply buy him a coffee with a one-off donation, links to which can be found at docmalik.com. Now, let's get on with the show.
Thanks for driving, getting here. You're not the first person to get lost, so don't worry about that.
So stupid. I got all the way here. I even went past the duck pond by mistake, and I got here and I thought, oh yes, this is it. I can see the finishing flag. And then I went straight past and I thought, nah, where is he? And of course, because your signpost for your house is on a wall high up.
It's to hide from people.
I don't want people. So.
Don't want people to know where I am. But anyway, listen, look, what have you got with a toxic waste byproduct of aluminium manufacturing? Like, why are you so against fluoride? What's your problem?
Because it's a toxic waste product and it's been put into our drinking water. And how on earth can expect people to stay healthy when you've not only got the fluoride and you've got 8 heavy metals and hydrofluoric acid being added, and that's really a corrosive acid which does nasty things to your stomach in large quantities. But putting something into your drinking water which has got arsenic in it, cadmium, chromium, lead, mercury and nickel is really bad news, because it's not what the quantity is per litre, it's how much you're taking in over the course of a lifetime if you're still living in that godforsaken hole called fluoridated West Midlands. It's bioaccumulative, and bioaccumulative rubbish is going to do you very bad health eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. But you talked about heavy metals there. So they talk about fluoridating water. What do you mean they've got all these other heavy metals? What, are they adding heavy metals as well?
Yes.
No, hold on. Really?
Yes. Right, so if you had a chance to get hold of British Standard 12175.
No, I didn't.
Shame on you.
One of many reasons to be shamed.
One page lists hydrofluoric acid as a contaminant. The next page...
So what was the British Standard again?
12175. But you can't get it off the internet.
Why?
It's too expensive.
Oh.
You could get it off the black market, though.
£308? Are you joking?
Well, I don't want people to see it. But anyway, I got mine off the black market. My friend managed to find it for me, and he even found me the updated one, which is about 9 years later. The thing was, there was very little difference apart from moving around the pages a tad. Anyway, so
keep going.
One page says all these heavy metals are added in tiny, tiny, tiny amounts. But
for what reason?
Because they're there. They sell us the contaminated, hazardous industrial waste without taking anything out. Now, it got in the acid in the beginning because it's in the ore, which they render down to make phosphate fertilizer. And there are the contaminants, the heavy metals, which are put to one side into the hazardous waste.
So I was right. These are all waste products. So basically, what you've got is this industrial waste product made from aluminium processing, pesticide process manufacturing, all these other industries, and they've got this toxic stuff that's dangerous. It's very poisonous, and they need to get rid of it, and it's expensive to get rid of, and it's a headache for them, and so not only is it costly, it's very costly. Now they say, actually, we can sell this poisonous garbage, make a little bit of money from it, and we don't even need to bother getting rid of it. We just literally flush it down the water.
That's correct. Yes.
What the frack?
And of course, they're putting it in the sea eventually via the rivers and estuaries and the water pipes and the sewage pipes. And they can't put it in the sea directly from the manufacturing of phosphate fertilizer. It's collected in the chimney stack. It's washed out with impure water. Why would they want to use pure water? Only be wasted. And the impure water has got lots of nasties in it, and so too have all the hazardous waste byproducts of making phosphate fertilizer.
Goddamn phosphate fertilizer. So basically, the British Standard 12175 semicolon 2022 is a European standard governing the use of hexafluorosilicic acid, commonly used in water fluoridation for treatment of drinking water, as if it needs treatment. That's the language. That's the lie. It doesn't need treatment. Okay. One key section addressing trace metal impurities. According to the standards table 1, impurities limits, an analytical methods section, the following heavy metals must be tested: cadmium, chromium, lead, and nickel. That means that they must be in there. That's why they're testing for them. These are the only heavy metals explicitly defined under the impurities and main byproducts. Like we said, it's byproducts in the manufacturing processes that they're using. And then it says other common heavy metals include mercury, arsenic, and cobalt, but they're not specified in the standard. Their absence means that they're not required to be tested or controlled for hexafluorosilicic acid intended for water treatment. Why does it matter? Because these 4 metals are toxic even at low levels and accumulate with long-term exposure. The standard mandates testing in impurity limits, ensuring the chemicals used won't significantly contaminate the drinking water with these specific heavy metals, but it doesn't really say anything about the cumulative long-term effect.
Correct. And the heavy metals are actually listed in the British Standard on page 8. So there you go. And on page 19, the function of adding hexafluorosilicic acid to drinking water is to increase the resistance of consumers to dental decay. So the title tells you that it's for treatment of water, but on page 19 in Annex A, it tells you it's for the treatment of human beings.
Yeah, so which one is it?
Oh, got to be the one in the annex. That's where all the good things are hidden.
Tell me, what biological functions, enzymes, proteins, hormones require fluoride?
None.
What plants require it?
None.
What animals?
No, none.
You pass, by the way. Yeah, so let's take something that's non-native to biology, all biology, and stick it in the water. Sounds great.
Yeah.
So this isn't just harmful to human beings drinking the water. It's harmful as a runoff, isn't it? To sea life, plant life, the fields, the irrigation. Am I right? The
Correct.
water table?
Correct. Now, what happens when it gets into the sewers, and most of it gets into the sewers because so little is drunk. It's used for washing cars and watering the lawn, but the rest of it gets into the sewers. And when it's been treated, 50% goes into the treated effluent, which goes into the rivers, and 50% ends up in sewage sludge. Sometimes farmers are happy to have this sewage sludge because it's very good fertile stuff. But unfortunately,
it's disgusting. It's human sludge.
Yeah, it's treated. Don't worry about it. It's perfectly fine, not infectious, but it's got lots of nasty things like chemicals. Yeah, gender benders, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And when that goes into the soil, some plants will take it up. These are the plants which are acid soil tolerant. And for example, blueberries. If you grew blueberries and you water them with fluoridated tap water or with sewage, or put sewage sludge around them, they're going to take up the fluoride. So you're going to have fluoridated blueberries, which is not going to be good for you. The trouble is that using phosphate fertilizer on our fields as superphosphate, grow more, also contains fluoride because they don't get all the fluoride out of the phosphate when they're manufacturing the fertilizer. So we're putting fluoride on the soil with the phosphate. You're putting fluoride on the soil with the sewage sludge. And obviously, if you're irrigating with tap water, some farmers have to because they're nowhere near a river, then they're going to put more fluoride in the soil because it's fluoridated tap water. What we're doing to our earthworms.
And I'm sure what they say to the farmers is this is organic if you're putting this human sludge. It's organic matter and it's Is that organic?
I don't know. I don't think organic farmers would use sewage sludge.
I hope not.
Not now.
But I'm just saying, people have told me the whole organic field is a complete nightmare and a mess, and it's not as simple as you think. You think you're getting this wholesome, healthy stuff,
Yeah.
and organic isn't quite clear. It can be quite murky.
Possibly.
And I just don't like the idea of human sludge. I'm sorry, being sprayed, like you said, all the antibiotics, the hormones, the heavy metals.
Mm-hmm.
And, this is the thing. This is the inversion that we live in, that, you've got all these climate activists. I care about the planet dying, all that carbon dioxide. But then you go, well, what about looking after the environment? What about not putting stuff in the water that shouldn't be there, like fluoride, like aluminium? Let's not spray the skies. Let's not spray the fields of all these insecticides and herbicides and glyphosate. That's killing the planet. That's destroying life and the biosphere. But these so-called green activists don't seem to talk about that much.
It's a shame, because we know that having raw sewage releases into the rivers is really not good for them, because the sewage basically takes up all the oxygen, and then the river animals sort of don't like it and they die, as it were, or they move away, in fact. Basically go upstream of the sewage treatment works if they're there in the first place. It's freshwater biota is not so tolerant of fluoride exposure. If it goes into the sea, it's okay, because the sea life can actually tolerate it, the fish anyway. But therefore, we believe that's not just the sewage releases, but the fluoride is damaging the chances of the fish living in a river. And look, do people fish in rivers these days, or do they go to the fish farms and do it there? The fish ponds, and they catch them and they throw them back in again. I don't think many people go river fishing now.
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. Getting fish nowadays is such a nightmare. I've stopped buying all kind of trout and salmon because it's all farmed, and they also vaccinate them. And I don't like vaccinated fish. Thank you very much. Including trout, chalk farm. It's all vaccinated.
Oh.
They all inject these things.
Oh, I'm going to have to give up my trout pate.
Yeah. Seriously. I looked it up. It was like chalk farm trout, blah, blah, blah. And I rang the place and I said, excuse me, do you vaccinate your fish? So, of course we do, against all known common fish diseases. And I was like, geez Louise, here we go. So I'll get salmon, like wild salmon, sockeye.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get wild fish, like Dover sole, lemon sole, sea bass. But anything else, it's gone out the window.
I suppose they can't actually fish farm sole. It's a flat fish. You'd have lots of tiers of fish all lying on top of each other.
Yeah, exactly. But even that, you just worry about the sea life, like how clean is the water? Like you said, they're pumping all this effluent into the sea. I go down to Cornwall quite a lot, 2-3 times a year at least. My in-laws there. But I've read about the water and it's awful. Like the sewage company is always discharging water into the sea, into the estuary. And it's a shame, water bills have gone up through the roof. I remember in the 1980s it was negligible. Now it's hundreds of pounds and they don't even bother treating the water. They just dump it into the sea. And it's like, what's going on here?
They should do primary treatment, get all the gunge out.
Maybe, but if you look into it, they literally just dump it in the sea. They reach the max something and then an overflow, and they're allowed to just dump it into the water. It's just shocking.
And we've got a huge island with lots and lots of sea around us, so we can afford to do it. What about the Central European countries? How on earth are they managing to get rid of their sewage when they have no sea anywhere?
I don't know. But anyway, listen, go back to the fluoride and drinking tap water. Apart from the West Midlands, is there anywhere in the UK where the water is fluoridated?
Yes.
Where?
All right, so northeast, Newcastle on Tyne, a little bit of Northumberland, North Tyneside, Gateshead, Nantwich and Crewe in Cheshire, Bedfordshire, central Bedfordshire, the west coast of Cumbria above Sellafield, West Midlands. I think that's about it, really. Yeah.
So little pockets. Why is there these little pockets? I mean, how many people is that now? 5 million, 8 million?
6 million, 0.5, 6.5.
Okay, so you're talking about just under 10% of the population. But why? Why these pockets? Why are they fluoridated and not everywhere else?
I think of many reasons. It could be because of industry wanting to dodge being blamed for polluting the air upstream, as it were, upwind. So you just basically put the fluoride in the water to keep the people quiet. Sellafield is definitely a case in point. Anyone living there should be really afraid. But they seem to be accepting it. They accepted being fluoridated. They accepted not being fluoridated. They accepted becoming fluoridated again. And there's no groundswell of opinion. It's really difficult to get to talk to people when they are accepting what is known as a status quo.
Just in case people don't know, because I've got an international audience, Sellafield is a nuclear power plant.
Yes.
And that's what you say, just don't live anywhere near. I've just looked it up. So industrial fluoride is a byproduct of nuclear industry, as well as the phosphate fertilizer industry. So there you go.
Yeah, it was given a very clean bill of health, would you believe, in America, the Manhattan Project. They had to use fluoride when they were making bombs. So anybody who was damaged by fluoride emissions had to be kept quiet. So they started thinking about giving fluoride a lovely, nice, clean look to it.
Wholesome.
Yes, it's going to make your teeth nice and white.
Ding.
Yay! Yeah. And that's what happened in America. I mean, 70% of America was fluoridated just to protect the aluminium industry, the phosphate fertilizer industry, a little bit of stainless steel, and of course the nuclear bomb industry. People were dumbed down. I hate saying this, but it does actually silt up the pineal gland, which produces melatonin. And people say, the pineal gland is the center of the soul. It gives you sort of spirituality. But what's happening, as far as I can see, where I live in West Midlands, people are just accepting. There are some people who are not accepting anything anymore, but the majority just want a quiet life. They don't want to know about it.
Well, I think there is this spiritual effect, actually. And I just feel, when I look around me, Joy, people have lost the spark of the divine, the curiosity, the fire in the belly, the zing, the zang, call it whatever you like. And I think the evil people at the top, the business people, the bankers, whoever it is that's running the shit show that this world is, they're quite happy to dumb us down, to make us sick, to make us distracted, so that we keep our eye off the ball, so that we're compliant, that we do as we're told, that we don't challenge them, that we don't look up, we don't question, and we don't say, why is life so unfair and so difficult? Why does the game of life feel rigged? Well, because it is. But most people are in this stupor, this fog brain, this zombie-like state. They're just living day to day for the next convenience, the next pleasure, and there's no oomph in them. And I think they've done it like that by design, or at least by a byproduct of the things that they're doing, like putting fluoride in the water, in the toothpaste. It's a convenient thing for them. It's a convenient thing for us to be like this.
That's correct. They've also given us that wonderful gadget called the TV. And there's so many dramas now on BBC. You can get hooked on them and you don't have to raise your head above a parapet ever again. I just don't watch TV as much as my husband. I don't watch this sport. I didn't even watch tennis. I've got better things to do with my time.
I didn't even know the tennis was on.
Okay.
Actually, I do. I had one of my listeners sent me a picture of her in Centre Court with one of my merchandise bags, Doc Malik. So I was like, Doc Malik is at Wimbledon, but that's all I knew. But I wasn't at Wimbledon. It was my listener who sent me a picture of her. But yeah, I'm the same as you. I don't watch TV anywhere near as much as I used to. You know what it is? And it's funny because I think looking back, I was addicted to it. I loved watching TV. If I was bored, I'd watch TV. Now I find other things to do. I'd rather sit in the garden and just look at the plants and the bees, and gathering pollen. I would literally rather do that than watch TV.
The other thing about TV is getting so used to violence. The dramas are horrible, or they're just bad language, or they're really bad behaviour. Obviously, I was brought up in the 1950s and 60s, so I was a good Welsh girl, and everything was perfect, and nothing like that at all.
Yeah, I don't use bad language in this podcast.
I'm pleased to hear that. But the point is this: everyone's becoming so used to bad language, bad behaviour, sexual behaviour on TV, and violence. We are becoming attuned to that, and that's become the norm.
It is. There's definitely no sex on this podcast either.
Oh, what a shame.
But you're right. They've flooded us with this so that it's become normal.
Yeah.
Definitely the violence. I agree with you. It's just normalizing this, and I just think it's also traumatizing. But anyway, back to the water and the fluoride. So some places have been fluoridating in this country. Now, in America, you've got Bobby Kennedy talking about fluoride now in the water and how he wants to stop it. This is very interesting. And there's research that's come out now clearly showing it drops your IQ significantly. I mean, at least 10 points.
Well, I think we're probably thinking about 6 to 8 points, IQ points. In America, they've got less fluoride being added to the drinking water. It's 0.7 milligrams per litre. Here, it's still 1 milligram per litre.
So how much is it in America?
0.7.
So they're reducing the amount?
They already have, because there was so much dental fluorosis in America, and they had to do something. It's not just then in the water. It must be in the food, or the processed foods, where they use fluoridated water as one of the ingredients. It's in your pharmaceutical drugs. It's in your bath water, in your shower water.
Yeah, I remember pharmaceutical drugs. It's in a ton of pharmaceutical drugs.
That's correct, yes. And I think because they did a huge number of studies worldwide looking at fluoride and the loss of IQ, and they came up with some Canadian and Mexican studies which really were the bee's knees, but they could only show correlation. If there's fluoride in the child's background and they have a reduction in IQ, that's fine, but you have to then take out all the other confounding factors to come up with the one pure gem. Fluoride overexposure reduces IQ, and it reduces it in the womb and also when the infant is given fluoridated baby formula.
Oh my God. It's in the baby formula as well.
No, it's...
Oh, you add the
powder.
water.
They add the water.
Yes.
Or they do actually, 1 or 2 brands do have fluoride added to the formula, which I think a mother would be very, very wise to keep away from. In the womb, if a mother's still drinking fluoridated tap water, taking pharmaceutical drugs containing fluoride, drinking Indian tea, which has fluoride in it, the tea leaves contain natural fluoride. If you're making it up with fluoridated tap water, you're going to be really overexposing the unborn child.
Wow.
Now, that goes through the placenta into the bloodstream of the fetus, and because there's no blood-brain barrier, the brain is permanently damaged by the fluoride, preventing the development of IQ. This is permanent reduction in IQ.
Right. Just give me 1 sec. Right. Yeah, dumbing down. It literally is dumbing down. It's a disaster. But you know, I was looking up while you're talking about the fluoride in drugs. It just makes you wonder, like, this compound that's in the same, periodic table, column as other poisons. So iodine is the one that we need in our body.
Don't need too much.
Yeah, but you've got fluoride. What's the other one?
Chloride. Chloride is essential.
Yeah, chloride is essential. So you've got chloride, iodine, fluoride.
Bromide. Now remember, in America, they used to sell bromide fizz to men because they're supposed to make them virile. No, it didn't. Other way.
We
Probably
love
made them
that.
sterile.
We love that. But anyway, fluoxetine is not physiological. It's very similar. Like aluminium, it's not in the body, no known process. Aluminium is actually the 3rd most abundant mineral on the planet. But
yes, but it's normally underground.
it's locked. Exactly. It's locked in silicate in the rocks. And then some smart ass 150 years ago decided to unlock it and unleash it onto the surface and all biology. And nothing biological knows how to deal with it, because for millions of years, nothing has ever dealt with this compound called aluminium. And now, not only do we have to deal with aluminium, we've also got to deal with fluoride. But what's bizarre is that you're introducing something that's non-native to the body, non-biological. And so, for example, drugs, psychiatric drugs, of course it'd be psychiatric drugs. Fluoxetine, it's in the name, which is commonly known as Prozac, an SSRI antidepressant. Now, that almost 1 in 8 people are popping an SSRI nowadays. Fluvoxamine, Luvox, also an SSRI. Paroxetine, Paxil, Cerovax, SSRI. And the problem with these SSRIs are they have so many horrendous complications. Something called SSRI sexual dysfunction. It can cause brain fog. It can cause you to lose your sex drive. It can make you wonder what gender you are. It can cause lots of problems.
And stops you having babies.
Stops you having babies. Well, they want that, by the way.
Oh, yes.
I don't know if you know that.
Yes.
So you've got these psychiatric drugs that have got fluoride in them and have got a whole host of complications. You know, I had Peter Breggin on my podcast. He's an amazing fellow. He's in his 80s. He's an American psychiatrist who spoke out against the electroconvulsive therapy and the lobotomies in the 70s. And then in the 80s and 90s, he spoke out against all these psychiatric medications. So, and then he spoke out against COVID and what was happening. So, I mean, he's really on ball. And, you know, there are people speaking about the damages and harms of these, and you just, you know, it's not surprising there's fluoride in there. Then some of the antibiotics have got fluoride, like ciprofloxacin. That's a fluoroquinolone. Now, these have also got significant complications and side effects, particularly tendon damage. They can cause your Achilles tendon to snap. But a lot of it is they're known for their severe side effects because of the tendon damage and neurotoxicity, because of the mitochondrial damage as well, change that they do. Mitochondria being the energy drivers in your cells. Antifungals can have them, fluconazole, some of your corticosteroids, it's in the name. Fluticasine, anything with flu is fluoride. Beclomethasone. Anesthetics have it. Sevoflurane, desflurane, isoflurane. It's all fluorinated. And, you know, some people will say, well, these fluorides are very different. They're not the same as ingesting fluoride ions, like those, you know, directly added to the water. However, the metabolic byproducts and the biopersistence will cause problems in our body and contribute to toxicity and harm, you know, in the long term. So that I just wanted to talk about that. But I think part of the problem is it's about money. So if you look at the global aluminium industry, I think it's something like $250 billion a year. It's one of the largest industries. It's huge. And everything from pots and pans to airplanes and cans, you know, made of aluminium. So it's big, big industry. And actually, I think in the next year or two, it's meant to be about $400 billion. It's huge.
It's a protected metal. It always has been. And anything the manufacturers want to do is obeyed by the governments, basically.
Yeah.
The only thing with going back to your pharmaceuticals is I believe that I've been told that fluoride potentiates the active substance in the pharmaceutical drug, and it helps to get that pharmaceutical drug into the cells. But what happens to the fluoride once it gets in there? You mentioned mitochondria, and I do believe it actually does affect the conversion of ATP down to ADP. So if you have too much overexposure, you're going to lose energy. And that brings a case in point. If football players in a fluoridated area don't avoid fluoridated tap water, does that take the edge off their game?
Yeah. Or just take the edge off people. I mean, I don't know about you, but I mean, so many people are just tired. Can get hardly anything done. You know, I start talking to them, they go, oh, I'm a bit tired now, I can't concentrate anymore. I just find people's concentration levels aren't the same as mine.
But that would be the fact that the fluoride or whatever has gotten through the blood-brain barrier. It's affecting the brain.
Yeah, amongst many other things. I mean, and it's not, look, I don't think fluoride is the end-all and be-all.
No.
You know, there's a tendency for people to think, you know what, it's whatever their topic is, it's the most important topic. And if you fix that one thing, everything in the world will just become right. You know, like whether it's chemtrails or 5G or vaccines or no virus or, you know, fluoride in the water, you know, but the reality is this is just one of many fronts that humanity is facing. So I've realized the enemy is attacking us multi-pronged, multi-directional across time. You know, they poison us in the womb, they poison us at birth, they poison us through our years, and even when we when we're about to die, they're still poisoning us. They're shoving in morphine and midazolam and God knows what else. And the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, the food that we eat, the soil that we grow things in, everything has just been poisoned. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's deliberate, like as in like someone's planning this, some aliens like, let's destroy humanity. But whether it's money, greed, stupidity, hubris, you know, all these things, it's happening. It is happening.
So they decide to find one good thing to make a good food product and forget to look at all the other negative factors of that one good thing, which is making a good food product. I agree with you. It could be laziness, carelessness, but after a time, surely it's also deliberate, because as soon as the establishment gets to find out that this is what's happening, surely they are going to be able to use that factor to expand it, to make our health even worse.
Yeah.
I'm being so cynical these days, and it's taken me a long time. I have to try and keep very strictly to the science until about 2 or 3 years ago, when I thought, no, whatever we do, we can't shift this fluoridation policy. There must be something more to it. And then I read a book by Kevin Galilei, who is a professor of population studies in an Australian university. And basically the scales fell from my eyes when I read it.
What did he say?
He said basically fluoridation is one of the tactics used for the global depopulation policy.
Hi, everybody. Sorry for the interruption. I don't know why I'm saying sorry. It's my podcast, and I need to advertise my consultation service. As you know, folks, I don't have any sponsors. How many big podcasts do you know of that don't have any sponsors? I'm supported by you, the tiny percentage who subscribe to my Substack or my Spotify paid channel. So to those few of you, I just want to say thank you so much. I love you. And hopefully the ones of you who are listening for free, you're still helping by rating the show 5 stars and spreading it on your social media far and wide, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, your WhatsApp groups or whatever. Please introduce them to my podcast. Hopefully some of them will subscribe to my channel. But I also want to take this opportunity to talk about my one-to-one consultation service I'm offering. Now, I'm not acting as your doctor or diagnosing and treating you, in which case some of you might be thinking, well, what the heck are you doing? What kind of consultation is this? Folks, if only you knew, I'm about advocating for your healthcare needs. I'm about educating you, empowering you, helping you navigate the minefield that's the sick care system. I'm helping you ask the right questions from your doctor, to get the best out of your consultation, to answer your unanswered questions, and to give you a second opinion, and so much more. I can prepare you for surgery. I can give you alternative views on different treatments. I can introduce you to other healthcare practitioners. But listen, enough of what I'm saying. Let's look at 2 reviews from today. There's Matt. I've learned so much from Doc Malik by listening to his podcast interviews. I felt he could help me with my personal health and well-being during a stressful time in my life, and he didn't disappoint. He offered me some great advice concerning a wide range of things, including diet, lifestyle, sleep, physical activity, and trauma, and he also guided me to other sources of help. He is a fountain of wisdom with a massive heart and has stepped up to help people properly in the way that your typical doctor does not. Thank you, Doc. Well, no, thank you, Matt, for a lovely review. And then secondly, Eloise. Not only does this man have what appears to me an incredible depth and breadth of true knowledge, he has the biggest heart. I felt so genuinely cared for around sensitive health issues that I may not ordinarily wish to speak about. A consultation is a trusted, safe space which was essential for me as I have tried everything under the sun and I'm aware of my own blocks. This straight-talking, caring approach ensures you leave the consultation with a no-nonsense, clear plan on what's important to change, how to go about it, and recommendations of other specialists in the field where Doc Malik believes you would benefit from. He is considerate of costs, so offers multiple ways to go about protocols to get the best for you without spending a fortune unnecessarily. The mental relief I got from this consultation was in fact priceless. So there you go, folks. Don't take it from me. If this resonates with you, check out my website, docmalik.com/consultations. Have a look. And if you think that, there's a calling there, book a consultation with me. Right, folks. Back to the show. Thank you for taking time to listen. I love you loads, so much. And honestly, for the recent listeners who've left Apple reviews and 5-star ratings on Spotify, I see you. I see what you've done, and I'm very grateful. Thank you, folks. God bless. Bye-bye. Oh, you now sound like a proper conspiracy theory. Welcome. Well done. Welcome. Welcome. Depopulation. You honestly think they're going to depopulate? I think so. I think so. I think that is definitely their plan.
Yes. I can see that. I mean, the carrying capacity of the Earth is fast running out. All right, we have enough food at the moment, but all the food's in the wrong place.
I don't believe in that. I think the carrying capacity is huge. I think that's another lie that we've been told. I think there's plenty of land, there's plenty of food, but it's about how we use it. The reality is there's a small number of people who want it all. And they use it and they abuse it, and the way they farm and do everything, it's just they're raping the soil, they're depleting everything. It's all about living in balance and harmony. And I think you either have a mindset of scarcity, that this earth is scarce, or you have a mindset this earth is abundant. And I believe it's abundant. The earth is beautiful.
Yes, it is. But unfortunately, the poor people who are starving are living in the wrong place because they just can't seem to attract enough food to come in their direction. We've just been watching the anniversary of Live Aid. Was it last night on TV?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't watch.
Okay, and it was fantastic. 40 years ago, they tried to save so many Ethiopians, and they were just basically starving because the food was in the wrong place, and they just couldn't attract the aid.
Yeah, well, can I tell you something? Even that's a psyop. That's not the history. Isn't what we were taught. That whole thing was not what you. I'm just saying. That's another thing for you to look into.
Okay.
It's all garbage. Ethiopia is actually quite fertile. There's a lot of it. There's a lot of food there. I've been to Africa, and it's amazing how green it is, how much food is made. It's not quite as it seems. Things are a little bit more complicated. I'm not saying there wasn't a famine. I'm not saying there wasn't people dying. Of course there were. But it's a little bit more complicated. It really is.
Internal wars obviously also cause famine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Geopolitics.
Yeah.
Us using other countries to wage proxy wars. Western interference, you name it. But anyway, back to fluoridation, okay? So one of the things I'm worried about is I think in America they're going to stop using as much fluoride. Now, in America and across the world, I think the fluoridation business is about 1 billion. So they've been able to, instead of spending money getting rid of the fluoride, which is costly, expensive, very difficult, they've managed to profit from selling it. So they're making about $1 billion. But I think in America, they're going to start using less of it. And I think they're looking for new markets. I think they're thinking, where can we get rid of this fluoride now? And I think the target's on us. What do you think?
See, we get ours from Middle East. We don't get it from America.
Do we not?
No.
Well, not yet anyway.
Not anyway. In America, 28 million people have been released from fluoridation since Christmas, which is amazing. I am so gobsmacked about that. And of course, as more states mandate against fluoridation, then obviously more people will be released. And obviously there'll be far more hazardous waste hanging around, not going anywhere because nobody wants to buy it. All right, they use it in America, I believe, for putting in toothpaste, because obviously where does the fluoride come from? We've had a recent report showing that the fluoride in the toothpaste in America has got heavy metals in it.
Oh, God.
And I've done a bit of looking around, and I've noticed that our main manufacturer in this country, Colgate-Palmolive, uses sodium fluoride from Belgium. and there are strict rules about any contaminants in that. So I can't find out if we are being poisoned with our toothpaste. I can't confirm that, but the American study certainly confirms it. So the toothpaste market does take off quite a bit. It neutralizes it, takes out the water, takes out the hydrogen, and basically the dried stuff is then turned into some miracle into sodium monofluorophosphate, as opposed to sodium fluoride. But yes, you're right. It's going to be a large amount of fluoride not going anywhere. They can neutralize it. As you say, it's expensive to do so. They can't bury it because it's liquid. They can't put it in a hazardous landfill because there'll be too much of it eventually. Because the hazardous landfill should hold liquid. I don't know the answer. Apart from one place in Borneo, Sabah, has now approved fluoridation. And New Zealand is trying very hard to fluoridate the entire country. Well, they don't actually grow their own hexafluorosilicylic acid. They bring it in from, I think, a company in Singapore area. So yeah, it's an international market. It just goes everywhere.
People need to understand fundamentally that fluoride is a waste toxic byproduct. That's it, isn't it?
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
And basically, the people who made it want to get rid of it. They want to get it off their hands. And if possible, profiting while getting rid of it at the same time.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. It's not physiological. It's not biological. It's toxic. It's harmful. And people who are pushing the agenda are either ideologically brain dead or are captured with major conflicts of interest, moneyed, academic tenures, reputations, you name it. Is that fair?
Yeah. Pretty fair.
Pretty depressing, isn't it?
Yeah, very depressing.
Okay, so before I move on, what states in America are now fluoride free? Who are these 28 million people who are now being freed of this toxic crap?
Florida, 23 million. Utah, 3.5 million. 60 other small communities throughout America where they didn't have a formal agreement. It was just the water companies or the utilities were talking to the city fathers and agreed to fluoridate their small communities. So those have gone. There's 2 communities in Australia and 2 in Canada. I think Montreal has decided not to fluoridate now. And they've got a problem with Calgary because they're doing a huge petition at the moment to try and get them not to add it back into the drinking water, having stopped it for about 3 years. And then lots of people in the dental profession are saying that, well, since we've stopped fluoridating, dental decay has increased.
So, oh wow. So when it comes to other countries, it sounds like the UK is quite good.
The government here wants to fluoridate, or rather the establishment is
No, I mean,
pushing.
historically, like we've not been that over-fluoridated. It's just 5-6 million people.
Correct. There's been no new fluoridation scheme since 1987. That was 2 years after fluoridation was legalized. All the other schemes were in place before it became legal.
Right.
How they got away with it, I don't know. People just didn't get the idea that it wasn't doing them any good. Of course, you get chronic ill health. It takes 20, 30 years before it works through your body. And then you've come down with things like hypothyroidism and diabetes 2 and fractured hips in the main. Nobody ever looked at IQ, although they've been thinking of IQ for about the last 40 years. But it's only been the last 10 years that it's really taken off. And the evidence has been so overwhelming. The correlation has been so strong. They just can't ignore it. So the first scheme was started in 1955. In England, there were trial demonstrations. 4 places were fluoridated and 4 were used as controls, who were not fluoridated. And 2 of them continued for several years, whereas Andover, down in Hampshire, stopped after 3 years when the concerned townspeople chucked out the local authority in the local election, got themselves elected, and the day they were actually sat in the council chamber, they told their water company, which they owned, to stop adding the fluoride. That was really good. 3 years.
Amazing.
Yeah, because people were up in arms about it. Anglesey continued until about 1991, when the Welsh Water Company, Welsh Water, or Dur Cymru, said, we don't want to do it anymore because we might be sued. And we're not being given any money back by the government. And then we're not being indemnified by the government. If anybody sues us for if they get ill health from drinking too much tap water, which has got fluoride in it. So they stopped in 1991. In 1993 and in 2003, the laws were strengthened, which made sure that the water companies obeyed if they were told they had to fluoridate by the local authority, by the strategic health authorities, and now by the government.
Wow.
So it's very difficult now because we've got these 6 million people who are fluoridated, and we've never yet been able to stop the fluoridation, apart from Bedford Borough, but that's another story. The law locks us into fluoridation and we can't get out of it. And the permitting law then says, well, if you've had a public consultation and we decide that the evidence is so strong in favour of having fluoride added to stop your dental decay, we will go ahead and do it, and we will order the water companies to do it. That's what's happened recently. We had a public consultation, summer 2024. The government decided the fate of 1.6 million people in March this year. And they said, oh, well, we've heard all these arguments before from the public consultations, and because we've heard them before, they do not hold any water. So we're going to go ahead and fluoridate. Forgetting, in the meantime, that their own research shows that only a 3% reduction in dental decay in fluoridated 5-year-olds compared to non-fluoridated 5-year-olds. 3% is diddly squat.
Diddly squat, and you don't even know how accurate that is either. So basically what I was going to say was the issue that I have with fluoridating the water is fundamentally the lack of informed consent. So basically you are adding a product into the water system. It's a medical intervention ultimately, and there's no informed consent. You know, I don't consent. I refuse to consent to this intervention, for example. And, you know, the side effects are numerous. So let's just look at the major harmful effects of fluoride in the body, right? So I made a list. You've got the neurotoxicity, the cognitive impairment. It will reduce your IQ. There's multiple studies, including those reviewed by Harvard and NIH. And it's bad for you. So neurodevelopmental delay, okay, attention deficits, learning disabilities. Like you said, it's the blood-brain barrier permeability. So even when you're in the placenta in the baby, you know, you're potentially affecting that developing brain at the most important, crucial time in its life. Then you got the skeletal fluorosis, chronic fluoride accumulation in the bones that will cause joint pain, stiffness, and fractures. Possibly even, you know, the misdiagnosis of fibromyalgia. It's all because of fluoridosis.
It also causes arthritis, which is stage 1 skeletal fluorosis in many cases.
Yeah, because you've got calcification of your ligaments, soft tissues, all that kind of stuff. You got your dental fluorosis, you got the enamel effect, and you can see those little white flecks, stains and whatnot. It's a clear sign that there's systemic toxic poisoning, especially in the children. The endocrine disruption, it's not just the pineal gland, but we'll come to that. You got the thyroid suppression. The fluoride interferes with the iodine uptake, and that leads to hypothyroidism and reduced thyroid hormone production. You got the pineal gland calcification. That's all about your chakra and your spiritual connection and all that kind of stuff. Reduces the melatonin production, and melatonin you need for anti-cancer, for health, regeneration, growth, repair, all that kind of stuff. Your sleep cycles, so it can disturb your sleep. Oh, it's raining. I wasn't expecting that. Look at that. And I put the washing out. Oh, well, that's a bit upsetting. I didn't see that.
It'll be fresher.
It will be fresher. I quite like putting the washing on the line. It's just nice and crisp and dry, and you get the light sunlight. I don't like putting tumble dryer. Anyway, so back to the pineal gland. You know, it's important. You need the sleep cycle. That's when you heal, recover, and you need it can affect your parathyroid and your blood sugar regulation. And then you've got your enzyme and mitochondrial dysfunction. You know, fluoride is known as an enzyme inhibitor. And enzymes is how we run our body and the proteins. So it can interfere with your DNA repair enzymes, the ATP production, the detoxification pathways. It's linked to oxidative stress, which is definitely a bad thing, inflammation and mitochondrial damage. And it can also affect your reproduction, reduce sperm quality, your testosterone levels go down. Guess what? If man was an animal, we'd be on the endangered list because the sperm counts dropped so much. Like honestly, we'd be like worried about extinction level because the sperm count is dropping, the testosterone is dropping, and the fluoride can also cross the placenta and accumulate in fetal tissue. It can result in delayed puberty and hormonal imbalance. It can affect your immune system. It can impair your white blood cells, especially your neutrophils. It causes increased risk of autoimmune conditions in animal models. It can potentially weaken the host, resistance to infection. Cumulative toxicity over time, it will add up in the bones, the brain, and the pineal gland. And because its half-life is in the bones is years, it can lead to chronic conditions even at low levels, even if you're drinking small amounts. And then there's potential risk of kidney disease and all that kind of stuff. And if you work in the fluoride industry, like aluminium smelting or phosphate fertilizer, then it can particularly be affecting you and be damaging. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, there are peer-reviewed studies and papers all linking all of this. This isn't conspiracy theory. This is reality, conspiracy reality. And who in the public is being given this informed consent? By the way, when we put this wonderful thing in to reduce your dental decay by 3%, it comes with all of these things. Now, informed consent means a balance, right? It means here are the potential gains and here are the potential risks. On the balance of the risk-benefit ratio, what would you like us to do? What would you like? What would you prefer to do? And now, people aren't being given that choice, are they, ultimately?
They're not. Right. So the most important thing is to categorize fluoridated tap water as a medicine. And that's the sticking point because the government won't have it. The establishment will not admit it, that it is a medicine. But I keep thinking, glass of water, add an aspirin, stir it round, dissolve it, drink it. What are you drinking? You're not drinking tap water or pure water. You're drinking a medicine.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we've been given every day of our lives. 1 litre, 2 litres of water to which a medicinal compound has been added. And only because people don't realise that sentence at the back of the British Standard, which is there, which says it's a prophylactic, it's a preventative to help your health. It's not water treatment. It's only because people don't know that exists and that the government won't accept it because they want to keep on pushing this stuff into our bodies. Right. Define it as a medicine. And then once you know it's a medicinal water, it is no longer drinking water. And the Drinking Water Directive, which is retained post-Brexit, definitely excludes medicinal liquid or water from its protections and provisions. The Drinking Water Directive has guidelines and standards. It defines how much per litre of each substance you should have, or maximum you should have, per day, per litre. The government likes to say, well, that's fine, 1.5 milligrams of fluoride per litre, that's fine. You're not getting anywhere near that. We're adding up to 1 milligram. We're within target. Unfortunately, because it's not drinking water, and it's medicinal water, there are no guidelines, no standards whatsoever. So you have to set the bar at 0 inches or centimetres. Yeah? No guidelines. So everything that's in your fluoridated tap water could be damaging you because no one's going to look at the maximum. There aren't any maxima.
Wow.
Maxima is 0. In my opinion, I can't find any standards anywhere in the world for medicinal water. So then we look at the Medicines Directive and the Medicines Law Act in this country. And what we're drinking from the tap definitely complies with the definition of medicine. And we've got 3 precedents from 3 High Court judges throughout the world which say that it is a medicine. And once we've got past that hurdle in the court of law, then everything else falls into place. Because you can't fluoridate, you can't medicalize anybody without their consent, especially if they have mental capacity. So the law which says that if you have not got mental capacity, we can treat you without your permission, which implies that you have capacity, therefore we can't. And we keep adding on to those laws until we get to a stage where we've got an unlicensed medicinal liquid which is without our consent, because it doesn't even comply with the NHS constitution, where you have to be allowed to refuse consent if you are a user of the NHS. And the NHS is in favour of fluoridation. Every argument we can then state which is against fluoridation falls into place once we've defined that it is a medicine. Game over.
Game over. Do you not find it just so frustrating? Like, the facts are so obvious and so clear. There's lack of informed consent. Fluoridation isn't required. There's no benefit to it. It's a toxic product that can cause so much harm. It can dumb down our children, our adults. It's dangerous. Like, why are we even having this conversation? Why are we even having to fight for this? Don't you sometimes just think, what the hell is wrong with this world? Why are you having to convince judges and professors and scientists of the bloody obvious?
Mm-hmm. Why?
You
You
know?
hit on it some time ago. You said that people in this world who want power, they are perhaps psychopaths. They just want the power. They just want to be in charge. It's a sort of a hit game. They love the power of being able to tell people you can't do that. And it's obviously there are lots of these people in power all getting together and all agreeing that they're all right about what they want to do to the rest of the population. They look down on us anyway, let's face it.
They do. But it's not just these invisible people. It's people on boards and committees. All of these people, they look down at us, you know. Even like your average doctor, if you question fluoride and toothpaste, they go, what's wrong with you? Are you a crazy conspiracy theorist? Like, and then you say to them, like any simple interrogation, can you tell me where the fluoride comes from? Blank face. Do you know what it's a byproduct of? What industries? Blank face. Do you know what the safe limit of fluoride is? Blank face. Do you know what physiological processes require fluoride in there and how it's removed from the body? Blank face. What are the toxic effects of fluoride? Blank face. Wow, you took a very strong position on fluoride, and you know, you looked down at me and made a derogatory comment when I questioned fluoride and toothpaste. But you don't seem to know very much about it.
Oh, but I'm told it's good.
That's...
Dentists say it's really good, and I'm in favour. Very interesting case in point. A certain chairman of a health and wellbeing board in Nottinghamshire 2 years ago. He was chairman, and he's decided that Nottinghamshire was going to be fluoridated. And he's a doctor, GP.
By definition, most likely highly ignorant.
Possibly. I mean, he was very much in favour of it. He's gone on record walking down a corridor, carrying a glass of water and telling people it's really good stuff and it's really good for your teeth. But what happened there is that he
it's affected his IQ.
Maybe, I don't know. But he got the votes in that committee, but nobody gainsayed him. They all sort of agreed to him. They all fell over like ninepins. And the ones who didn't agree didn't know how to gainsay him because they didn't have all the information, all the facts at their fingertips. So the next thing we knew, there was that this particular county asked West Streeting to consider going out to public consultation for Nottingham and Nottinghamshire, because Nottingham's part of Nottinghamshire County Council these days, so the whole county. And then we find that Rutland and Norfolk and Worcestershire and Cornwall all want to go on the bandwagon and fluoridate. So they've probably, presumably by now, are all asked West Streeting, our wonderful Secretary of State for Health, to consider a public consultation.
They're all LGBTQ plus friendly, all waving their Ukraine flag, and they've all been boosted. Hooray! So basically,
I couldn't possibly comment on that.
Have you? Yeah, trust me, they are. Have you ever watched a movie called Idiocracy?
No.
Oh, you need to watch it. It's from the 80s, or I think or early 2000s. It's old. It's very old. Early 2000s maybe. Idiocracy, well worth watching. So this not so bright army recruit goes into this experiment where they get put to sleep and have to wake up in the future, but something goes wrong. He wakes up like 100 years from now. And remember, this guy isn't very bright. But in 100 years' time, everyone's IQ has dropped significantly to the point where it's like 50. So now this guy who's not so bright is now the brightest person on the planet. And he finds himself in trouble. And he goes to court. And they're all laughing, the judges, the lawyers, and it's like a mental asylum. And he's trying to reason with these people. He's trying to, put up a defense. And they just laugh at his statements. They think he's an idiot when they're all idiots. And what I've realized now in the world today is so many people in positions of power and the committees, the people who make the decisions, are in effect like people who are in a mental asylum and are not that, they've got problems.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is we are faced with is like going into that mental asylum and trying to reason with those people. It's impossible. And they're the ones that think we're crazy.
Uh-huh.
They're the ones that are crazy. All these people, all these professors, all these politicians, all these council leaders who try and push all these things on us, whether it's fluoridation or God knows what else, they've actually all lost the plot. And it's very hard to try and reason with them because you know what? My dad used to say this, son, don't try and reason with unreasonable people. It'll get you nowhere. But what do we do? You're doing this court case, but that judge might be fluoridated up to here. He's coming with his own prejudice. Oh, but I follow the science. I'm a government man. Who are these crazy conspiracy people? And it's like, what the heck? How do you get through to these people? It's tough.
Yeah, I know it is. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I am not a conspiracy theorist. Ever since Judge Edward Chen said that fluoride poses an unreasonable risk to the IQ of children. And it was basically, yes, I am now a proper sane person again. I was never a conspiracy theorist, but everyone thought I was.
Yeah, of course.
Along with all the other million people who agree with me.
But that's just a derogatory label to shut down any debate and anything that comes out your mouth as being just crazy talk.
Yes, exactly. And then we cause panic. Oh, you can't cause panic among people. You can't tell people that they're taking poison. Oh, no, that's really bad news. You shouldn't agitate them at all. Quiet, be quiet. So that's the next thing we are accused of. I think the insults are stopping now slightly, but we're still having great problem getting through to the establishment. And you mentioned the court case, and I haven't actually gone into that in great detail. Do you want me to talk to you about that?
Yeah, 100%. Let's go for it.
Excellent. Okay. So about this time last year, we decided enough was enough. Nothing we could do could stop the policy. There must be something very, very strong in government or in the establishment, the permanent civil servants, basically, who are keeping this thing in place.
The real people in power. The politicians are puppets, by the way.
The permanent cabinet secretaries and all that sort. So we've retained a barrister, Louisa Bagley of Celestial Chambers. We've gradually getting together lots of people who want to put their name to the bottom of a letter before claim for stage 1 of this action. And stage 1 is let's challenge the government solicitors with all the law we can find and see what they have to say for themselves. If there's any law they don't agree with, then obviously that would have to be carried forward to a court case, which would be stage 2. But stage 1's taking a long time to get off the ground because we need thousands of people to object to being fluoridated, being threatened, or to be concerned. So that's Group A, fluoridated, Group B, threatened, and Group C is concerned people living in England and Wales who may be threatened at some time in the future, but we need their names now so we can talk to them at a later stage if we need them. Stage 1 has no financial penalty whatsoever.
Remind me the website again, by the way. Just do a shout out quickly. I'm going to look it up as well.
The website
I'm going to put it on the screen.
Yeah, the website to go straight to the registration to volunteer is kingfisherjustice.co.uk.
Kingfisherjustice.co.uk.
Yep.
Okay. Carry on. You were saying?
But if I need more information, there's lots of extra stuff on that website. But my own website has got far more information on it, including stuff on fluoridation itself. And my website is ukfffa.org.uk.
.org.
UK.
Okay. UKFFA.
FFFA. That's the trouble. We changed the name of the organisation. There were too many Fs. UKFFFA.
Okay. And you know that Kingfisher one? When you go on the website, it says poisoning, register interest for free, or it says please donate. How'd you join the legal group? How'd you do that?
You click on the register button.
Yeah.
And just fill in a very, very simple form. The clerks at Celestial Chambers will send you out a contract according to which group you're in. Group C does not have a contract at this point in time. It's just Group A, fluoridated, Group B, threatened. And you're going to say, well, how do they know they're threatened? Well, there's a whole list on the website, my website, which gives them every place. But it's not an exact science. And if they're not sure, they can contact me.
Yeah, how do I know if I'm fluoridated or not here?
Well, you go to your water company's website,
Yeah.
look at their water quality reports, and look for the word fluoride, scan across the row, and then you...
No, it's not. They don't add fluoride to the water.
That's fine, but they may have natural fluoride.
Yeah.
That's okay, but it doesn't matter so much because what it is, in this part of the country, it's very, very low.
So what should I say? Should I say Group B or Group C?
C.
C. Okay.
But people living in the east of England have a very large amount of natural fluoride, and we think they should be Group B because, or Group A, in fact, sorry. Group A because they are fluoridated but naturally. So people in Hartlepool.
I'm registered.
That's very quick.
Yeah, I've done it. Do I need to donate some money now?
No, the donation is for our legal costs, and that donation button, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd like to do that as well, though.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure if that donation button goes to our GoFundMe.
It just says, please donate.
I think that's probably...
Just giving, buy me a coffee.
No, that's not our... That is not our GoFundMe thing. That's for the website itself.
Ah, okay. So where's the actual legal fund?
The legal fund is on UKFFA
Okay.
homepage.
Gotcha. GoFundMe water fluoridation appeal.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's UK and 3fs.org.uk.
3 Fs and an A.
Okay, so
No,
this is not
it's
very
awful.
good. We've only got £367 raised for you. What the hell? We need to get more than that.
I need more, yes, definitely. It's a large, horrible job to try go fundraising when you're not a fundraiser, and I'm not one.
Well, I've just given you some money.
Oh, thank you. £100.
Yeah. Wow.
No, I know. We need 7,500 at the moment. And then if we ever get to stage 2, which will be the court case, we will be fundraising in earnest because obviously there may be adverse costs if the judge decides against us. You see, the problem is the permitting law says the government can do it, but the other laws argue against it. So a judge might say, well, it's a permitting law, and therefore you have to obey. But there is a point of view for some judges around the world which says, well, fluoridation law cannot remain unfettered, which means there are other laws which can argue against the permitting clauses. So if a judge is not inclined to help us, he might say, well, I don't care about being unfettered. It's the law of the land.
Ahmed, you're a top donor on this fundraiser. There you go.
Excellent.
Happy?
Excellent. Thank you. Up to £400.
So basically, listen, we need everyone, please, if you're listening, help Joy and the legal team. Please raise some money. Just donate anything, even if it's £5, just something to fight back against the evil bastards. Right? We need help, guys. Okay, ukfffa.org.uk. If you scroll down this little green box, I'll just share the screen again. and you can see what it is that we need to do.
And if anybody's in doubt about whether they are threatened or fluoridated, all they have to do is fill in the contact form on that website, and I'll get back to them reasonably quickly.
Yeah. Okay, I can't share the screen for some reason. Okay, fine, it doesn't matter. Okay, but listen, we've said the website a few times. It'll be in the show notes as well. I'll put it in the Substack. But guys, listen, everyone listening, look, this is what I mean by we need to help. We need to help with all the fights. And people might say, oh, you know what? We don't have any money. But the thing is, like, Team Devil has lots of money. Like, the bankers, and they can print cash literally out of nothing. If you look into money, you'll realize that money is actually worthless. It's just printed on a paper out of nothing. We are charged interest for using it, and we have to pay tax on it as well. Even when we die, we have to pay tax on it. This is money, and the Team Devil has lots of money. They have all the money in the world. But Team God, Team Good, doesn't really have much. But we need all the support we can get. So if you're out there and you're thinking of buying a coffee from Costa Coffee, do you know what? Just spend it £5 on this GoFundMe case. I think it's worth it. It's for your children. It's for you. It's for your grandchildren. We need to fight these people. It's tough, isn't it, Joy?
It's a tough fight, yes.
It's pretty thankless, isn't it?
I get nice sort of compliments every now and then, which keeps me going.
And I want to ask you, why are you doing this? Like, why are you not just tending to your garden and playing with your grandchildren and just enjoying your life?
It just hit me between the eyes back in 2002, and it's become a vocation. It's something that I feel passionately about. And
Why?
I just can't stop it because it is such an injustice. It's such a stupid ill health policy. It shouldn't be anywhere on this earth. Why would anybody want to put poison in your drinking water? And nobody's listening. So it's a huge, huge challenge to me to try and persuade everybody I meet, or who will listen to me, who won't glaze over, because many people do, understand where I'm coming from. And it just keeps me going.
All right, so there's some mums and dads at the school gate, okay? And if you were to tell them why they shouldn't have fluoride in the toothpaste and why they shouldn't have fluoride in the water, in a nutshell, what would you say to them?
I would have great difficulty. You need more than 2 minutes as I drop in the kids off or waiting for the children to come out. Clearly, you give them a leaflet in the good old-fashioned way of handing out the pamphlet.
Mm.
How do you broach a topic which is so health damaging that people just cannot grasp it in a few minutes? It's really hard graft. I try my best, but
Well, try now then. What would you say to people listening?
I know of a health damaging government policy which we can all fight against if you'd only listened to me and allowed yourself to believe that something is really evil going on in this world, in this country. Then, of course, if they're fluoridated, they probably don't want to know because, unfortunately, they're the least amenable to persuasion.
This is the problem, isn't it?
It's very much so.
So when you're already fluoridated and your pineal gland is calcified, you've lost connection with the spirituality and the divine God. You literally have just become like automaton, living day to day. It's just that curiosity, that spark, that fight in you is kind of gone.
Yeah.
It's dulled.
Plus, of course, you've got to try and pay for your house or your rents, keep the children fed, clothed. Money's short. The one thing you're concerned about is money. And the least thing you're concerned about is what is in your drinking water.
And it is tight. It is difficult. I know. The food bills are huge. The electricity bills are huge. We stress about this all the time. Thankfully, we're able to keep our head just above the water. But, we can't pay off the mortgage. We're on interest only. I can't afford a repayment mortgage. It's just annoying. It's just like, I appreciate things are tough. It's just very tough. But then I would say to people, just be careful about your choices. Like, people are struggling, but then I'll see the same person telling me how things are difficult. then go and splash, £100 on a Friday night out drinking alcohol. Because they want to let go and just relax, or they'll vape and spend tons of money on vapes or cigarettes. So people do also spend money on the wrong things, the very things that are poisoning them and making them sick, because they're trying to escape from the pain of life. I get that. It's escapism. But there are other ways to escape, and one of them is literally just embrace with nature. Go out running, go cycling, do gardening, like these healthy, wholesome things, which actually don't cost you anything, and actually much better for your mental health and your physical health.
Walking in the wood apparently is very good for you.
It's amazing for you.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Switching off from everything. So there are other ways. And then doing what you're doing, getting involved in campaigns like this, I think it gives you purpose. And, you're a warrior. I mean, do you think since you started the campaign, the awareness has increased, that people are more switched on than they were 20 years ago?
Yes, I do believe that. Unfortunately, we've got national and regional media who haven't actually grabbed onto it. The last time we had a really good newspaper exposure was back in 2008 in Southampton. The local paper put their heart and soul into publishing all the letters they had sent to them. And in fact, we won that public consultation. 10,000 people took part. 7,200 said, no, we don't want it. The rest said yes. Strategic Health Authority decided they knew better and said, we're going to go ahead with it anyway. So public consultations, again, are diddly squat. Why bother? But we still have to pull out all the stops. It's because media is cutting down on anything like that. They don't want to publicise it.
It's captured.
It's captured, yes, absolutely.
Joy, you haven't listened to many of my podcasts, but I've talked about this. That the one thing that COVID has made me realise, and it made me wake up to many things, is that, and I'm actually glad that COVID happened. If I could go back and snap my fingers and make it disappear, I wouldn't. Because guess what? COVID is what made me stop getting the kids vaccinated anymore. COVID is what made me stop the cats getting vaccinated. COVID is when I finally was able to convince my wife to distill the water and not use fluoridated water or toothpaste. It's only in the last 5 years. So many other things I've awoken to. It's only since COVID I've realised that the media is all about a propaganda machine and lies to me and doesn't give me the news, but gives me what they want me to think and feel, that it's mainly fear porn and distraction and deceit. COVID taught me that my politicians are not to be trusted at all. Like I thought they were all scum before, but now I've realised the depths of it. And I've also realised they're just puppets, just playing, acting. They don't actually come up with any policies. Dominic Cummings even talked about that. They go to the cabinet office with the little briefcases with a script of what they're going to say. They parrot out their script, then they'll shut their briefcases and go home. Mm-hmm. It's been written by the civil servants. Mm-hmm. The questions, the answers, the questions, the second answer, everything. And if anyone goes off-piste, they get reprimanded. How dare you get off the script? There is an illusion of democracy. There is no real democracy. It's a uni-party system. Journalists don't do any real journalism. All of this is from COVID, I've realised. And so I'm grateful for COVID. And I think people are awakening to the many lies that are out there. And hopefully they'll just become a tipping point where there's so many of us who know about the scam that's going on that they can't get away with it anymore. But anyway, let's move on to you. Like, how many other Joy Warrens are there in this water fluoridation campaign? Do you have a whole team of people behind you, little Russian doll of Joy Warrens ready to take over your mantle when you've decided you've had enough? Or are you literally out there on your own?
I have no idea of anybody who wants to take over this thankless task.
But is there a team behind you?
We have a small team, yes. Lots of people who are well-wishers, who are active, who will volunteer to do things. And I've got a team of 2 people who are my social media people. And because I go giving talks to alternate thinkers, I did one last week in Dudley and the one 2 weeks before that in Stourbridge. I try and give as many talks as I can. That's how I say things are becoming a little bit more up front. And people know more about it now. And of course, the alternate thinkers are going to be believing me absolutely. And of course, I'm telling the absolute truth. And they do want to do something, but people are helpless. I mean, what can you do? So I give them the opportunity to do this thing with the courts, with the letter before claim. And yes, hopefully they will all take it on. People, however, are afraid of being penalised financially if they take part in anything to do with legal action.
And they're not going to, are they?
No, the first stage is without any financial penalty whatsoever. There's an admin fee for the contract with Louisa, but that's the only thing. There's nothing horrible going to happen to them. And they can leave before stage 2 if they want to, or we'd hope we'd stay, because we're then going to get lots of money coming in to help with the court case. Is there anybody? I can't feel anybody tapping my shoulder at the moment to saying, I'll take over for you. It's all right. I've got a few more years left.
Yeah, good for you. Well, you look very healthy.
Thank you.
Do you mind if I ask, how old are you?
76.
76?
Yeah.
You look great for 76.
I don't drink the water.
And you've been doing this for 24 years, 23 years?
Yeah.
Good for you. Do you have grandchildren?
No.
Okay.
So you're probably wondering why the hell I'm doing it, because I'm certainly not doing it for my heirs. I'm doing it because I care deeply about all these poor people.
So you don't have children either?
No.
But all of humanity is your children then?
Yes, I care deeply about them becoming ill. So many people are ill because of this obscene stuff being added to our drinking water. And I feel really sorry for the ladies with hypothyroidism who, no fault of their own, have come down with this thing. It's not only what they're drinking. I think it's something to do with their hot baths. So many people like having hot baths. Not this weather, perhaps. But that also is bad for them because they're absorbing the fluoride through their skin. I really do feel sorry for them because they've given their all to their families. And when the children want them to do babysitting, as it were, or baby care, because they have to go out to work, Mum can't do it because she's feeling so weak and wobbly. She just hasn't got the patience or anything like that. It's so bad for family cohesion.
It's very sad. Right, listen, I've got one last question, but before we go, just a reminder to everybody, please visit the website ukfffa.org.uk. Call to action. We're fighting back. Get started in the legal challenge group. So I've just done it now, by the way. I've done it online. Sent my details. Guys, please support Joy and the team. And I know Louisa Bagley. She's an amazing human being. She is she's been helping Sarah Myhill with her court case.
Yes.
She's a really good egg. I can vouch for her. Initially I wasn't sure. I thought she's just a goddamn lawyer. She's definitely one of us. She's a good one. Joy, you're a good one too.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming all this way. I mean, how far did you have to drive?
From Coventry.
Coventry. So that's what, 1 hour and 45 minutes?
Yeah.
Well done. Thank you so much. I hope it was worth it. Final question. Listen, you're on your deathbed. I know you don't have any children, but you got your loved ones around you, your friends and family. Before you die and meet your maker, what words of wisdom and advice would you give to everyone?
I think if you're up against it, you just hope and carry on. Don't give in, because that's the only thing that'll make you feel really fulfilled in your life.
Well done, Joy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I, Ahmed Malik, am a private civilian protected by the Geneva Convention. My Substack, social media posts, and podcasts are my personal experiences, observations, and opinions. This information is for educational purposes only. Although I am a doctor, I am not your doctor, and I am not providing medical or legal advice to you or to the wider public. I am not licensed or registered with the GMC or any other licensing board. The responsibility for the interpretation, due diligence, and use of the information from my Substack and my podcast lies with you, the viewer and or listener. Please do your research and use your discernment. It is not my intention to harass, intimidate, offend, defame, conspire, blackmail, coerce, or cause anxiety, alarm, or distress to any man or woman, and the information presented here is done so with peaceful and honourable intentions. Enjoy, folks.